Welcome to another video on supporting legacy browsers with Solid and Lightning. So to start this video, I have the Solid demo app open in Lambda Tests, which is a site that gives you access to older browsers. It's a paid account. It's similar to Browser Stack. I use this one because it's got a good low monthly price. So I recommend it. In order to use it, though, you do have to contact their support to turn on WebGL for your account. Otherwise, WebGL just doesn't work at all. So I did have to do that. But now that I have a used account, I spent some time getting the Solid Demo app fully working in Chrome 38. And the reason this is important for legacy devices is if we go to LG WebOS, Chromium 38 gives you TV support for 2016 and 2017 devices. So that's about 9 years old on devices, which is kind of our target. And I think it's the target for the renderer is to support Chromium 38. And the same thing with Samsung Tizen, that gives you 2017 devices. They need Chrome 47 is for Tizen 3. And the big important cutoff is Chrome 49 is when proxy support is added to Chrome. And proxy is something that can't be polyfilled. And it's a very important API that allows you to spy on objects and know when certain properties were called or when things were accessed, because then you can do some magic behind the scenes as a framework to make things work. So with SolidJS, there was actually some open issues. I'll take you through some of the history where people were looking into using Solid and they were worried about proxies because they want to use SolidJS for legacy devices, similar to our use case, which is smart TVs, set-top boxes, gaming consoles, etc. Because we all know that TV devices, once they are released, they never update their browsers. Hopefully that changes in the future, but right now, if you have an older TV device, you are stuck with the browser that it was released with, which is a big problem. So Ryan fixed this in version 1.6 of Solid, and Solid is right now like version 1.9. And what he did was he deproxification is what he calls it. So he made sure that if you don't create a proxy, Solid won't create a proxy either. And there are certain use cases that you have to watch out for. So one of them is using split props. Like you can't use split props and you can't use merge props. So those are two things that typically cause a proxy to be created. And additionally, the big thing to watch out for is spreading of props. And I'll go through this with an example in a few minutes. But if you spread props, what happens is sometimes this is an object and it has to worry about you swapping it out with another object. So it has to create a proxy to know what properties to actually update. So those are the things that you have to watch out for. There were some other things that happened behind the scenes over the last few months of me working with Ryan to ensure that SolidJS works correctly, because sometimes when I was doing the build, the Veep build, Core.js adds in and it makes it look like proxy is there even though it's not there. So we added some additional checks to make sure that that works. And then there's also the SolidJS router. There were some changes to that, which is why we have a hash router in the primitives to make sure that we're not using proxies in the SolidJS router. So I want to spend a moment going through how to debug issues with Chrome 38 because it is not fun. And here I'm going to go into another example which I purposely left broken just so that we can see this. So we can go here and I have this destroy one is broken. So if we go in here, I'm going to open up the inspector and we'll go to console and we'll see as soon as I go into destroy, we're going to get an error message. And this error message is not helpful at all. And this is because when you do the Babel polyfill for legacy browsers, it adds all these wrappers for it to give you this nice stack trace. So what I usually do is I go in here, I set a breakpoint on here, and then I reload the page because the stack error that it's giving you is not the one that you actually need. What you need is you need this b.stack. So now if I go into here and I do b.stack, because that's a getter, this is the actual error that's occurring. And then the other thing is bubbling it. So what's happening is there's resolved sources and it's trying to access a property. I'm spreading this is what happens when you try spreading a function or a proxy. And I will show you the code, which I left purposely broken as an example. So here I have hero content and I'm trying to spread it onto my hero component. And that is a no-no. Like you just can't do this. Ideally, you pass in hero content as a property, and then you use props.item.values. But don't spread it. If you do this top level spread, that is going to throw that error, and you're going to be in trouble. So I went through all of the Solid Demo app, made all those changes to make sure I'm passing in like full properties like this, and then accessing the sub properties. And that's really all that you have to do. So the Solid Demo app, to go through the build steps, we use Vite, and I just had to update the legacy to target Chrome 38. And there is additional polyfills for fetch. Fetch is not available in Chrome 38. Yep, it's that old, and additional modern polyfills. And what happens is when you run a Vite build, it will actually build an index.html, and it actually has script type module and then script type no module. So that's modern browsers and legacy browsers. So modern browsers will use these JavaScript files, and then the legacy ones, you'll notice it has index-legacy in the name. So it's basically the same code. It just is running a legacy version, which polyfills, and for polyfills, it's basically adding APIs that don't exist in the browser in older browsers. So you can write additional JavaScript. So it's a lot more JavaScript running on these older browsers. But that is what Vite is doing to make it work. And that is everything that I have for you in this video. So everything's working. This is how you debug, but you'll be able to get it working on Chrome 38 and other devices. As always, like and subscribe. If you have any questions, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what other videos you want. Take care.